Peace, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is Wednesday, the 27th of May, 2020. You're halfway through your work week. Some of you that have returned back to work, and for others, you're halfway through. How is everybody doing? Getting my mind clear by grounding my feet, looking forward and respecting the path of my walk. Fam, I wanted to put this out because I had a couple questions I wanted to ask the intended heart, intended mind when this finds you. Number one, when's the last time you told yourself, I love you? You know, those three precious words, I love you. When's the last time you did, and how did you feel? Did it move you to a place of feeling empowered? Did it make you feel that you were a disconnect and it was just frivolous words? How did you feel? And there's a reason why I ask this, because the other side of that, you will find validation, or the other side, possibly, it will be insecurity. And the reason I'm asking you this, because you do understand, and if you don't, that may be the reason why you may feel that dreams don't come true. Manifesting is a facade. Having a spiritual connection is impossible. And you are believing or taking a position of the speculative viewpoint. But you know what's frightening, if that may be you, is the fact that the work still has to be done. This is what's waiting. What's at stake is your legacy and the destiny that your rightful birthright is waiting on. You know, there are people that do understand dimensional placement, and then there are those that think it's something that's merely made off of the words and of some screenwriter, and you know, fantasy. Well, what's sad about that is the people that don't have your best interests. They're banking on the fact that you stay the course, because they already know who you are. They already know your capabilities. They've identified that from the first hello. They knew that. And they're hoping that you don't realize that, because they're using that to their advantage. You know, like the story of the Prince and the Pauper, the story of Cinderella, you know, the story of Wizard of Oz. All these beautiful classic stories were nothing but allegory for a deeper meaning. But information will reach you at the level that you're on, or what you're willing to invest in. to pull back the layers. And then proverbially, that is what divides 50% of the populace of those who have compared to those who won't. Those who are empowered and those who are projecting. It is the root of transparency. It is the linchpin of intimacy. Having the courage to identify what is a need compared to what simply is a want. So, with this, I'll sum it up to this. Do you realize the person you are destined to be is waiting for you to grow, to expand, to persevere, so that you can claim what is waiting for you down the road? And there are some that can't afford that. You've heard people say, a hater's job is never done. You've heard people say, if you wasn't doing something right, you wouldn't have envy. That's validation in itself that you're on the right path. But you don't have. Why is it now that when it comes to things that matter, we don't want to talk about it? And we'll try to shift the narrative so that we won't have to adjust. Why? What are you afraid of? Isn't your dreams worth the investment of you? That's what manifesting is about. See, think about it. All aspects of your spiritual being comes from the Most High. It is planted in you like a seed, and through time, it grows through positive or less than positive cause and effect. But think of it this way, fam, because I'm trying really, really hard. I want to reach the intended heart and mind on the level that you're at, because I know some of you like straight talk. And that's the only time that you will actually take in what's being said. You'll let it go off one shoulder, miss me with that, or in one ear and out the next. And then you're wondering why you're seeing the same narrative play out over and over again. But the only thing that's changing is the faces. You know this because you feel it. You're like, I've been down this road before. You know why we do this, family? Because there is something minute, something that was so oblivious that we missed it. So we got to run that beautiful beam footage over again. But then it becomes more difficult, more challenging. Sometimes the actions play out because we choose denial over direction. But you know what? There's only one you. There's one path. There are countless commonalities that we all share together, but it's the perspective that is individual. It's the insight that makes our wisdom. That is why your life is so priceless, family. Now, I've been echoing lately about the social impact that isolation has caused. And I know some of y'all have seen in the town near you, in the city near you, in the state near you, you've seen the effects that while some states open and phases are being administered, people can't wait to commune together. And with reckless abandonment. And look, I get it. I get it. You miss your environment. You want to get back into your norm. Now let's look at this objectively. The norm that we all had the first week of March is in the history books. It's going to be at least 15 months before we're actually at a place that, okay, this is how things are being done. This is what I have to do to navigate my said day. And in the interim of that, I mentioned that some people took this down to, first of all, listen, do you realize you will never be given the opportunity that we've all had to go through this isolation? Again, you will never see that in your lifetime again. You'll see modifications of it, but you'll never see it the way it played out. But rest assured, you're going to see some people get sick. You're going to see areas that didn't even register have outbreaks. And that's because of the fact that there are those who refuse to see the value of their individuality as well as their immune system. Listen, family, nobody can get you sick unless you allow yourself to get sick. And what I mean by that is very simple. If you're doing everything that you need to do, you have a more fighting chance for prevention than you do doing nothing. Now, on the flip side, let's look at this from a financial standpoint. Do you realize that during that same time period, there were people focusing on the things that they may have not given ample time to? Think of it this way. This pandemic was a blessing in disguise because this gave everybody an opportunity to emotionally, materially, and socially spring clean. So guess what? What does that mean, Gerald? That means some of you are not going to hear from certain people. Some of you have realistically made the assessment that what you need requires you to do certain things. So guess what? People are not going to have access to you anymore. Don't take it personal. Acknowledge it. Keep it moving. Do not stop. What comes out of that? Your value, your stock of who you are as an individual just went up. Just went up. Because guess what? Now you are seeing through action and behavior the people that genuinely have your best interest. The people that you ain't here checking for you, okay, get the hell out of their way. Don't feel like you're emotionally pulling teeth to get someone to acknowledge you exist. Why? Why? That should tell you where they see you in their priorities. Now, you can't fault somebody from focusing on their best interest. You can't. You commend them on that. Because as it was always said, if you love something, set it free. If it returns, it's meant to be. But guess what? When it returns, does it share the same sentiment as you do by example? Does it? Because why accept something that's temporary? Why accept something that is nothing but an illusion or a distraction? Because you do know an opportunist does not need your help to expose themselves. What is required for you to have the courage to acknowledge what is being offered. That is why the That beautiful word no doesn't mean forever. It means under review. So guess what? During this whole isolation period of time, your FICO score didn't change. It didn't stop. Bills still got to get paid. Responsibilities still need to be met. But guess what? By being objective, by acknowledging what is important, you're going to move accordingly. You're going to sidestep the things that have no weight. You're going to actually get to a point of accepting, hey, look, I'm going this way. Not everybody's going to have nor earn the right to walk with you, but they're going to be grateful that they had an opportunity to know you. Because guess what? Everybody that comes into our lives will either enhance or expose that they shouldn't have access. And I'm not saying that cavalierly, family. Listen. Do you realize how many people you're going to see directly or indirectly? They're going to come over the top and be like, wow, you're doing this? You did that? And because they see the priority of their timeline, they see the importance of the opportunity. There's a difference between being an opportunist and an opportunity. See, with an opportunity, there should be no compromise because you already bring whatever said assets so that you can claim it. That's why when it comes to your blessings, it is the same as your natural talents and gifts. Don't believe me? Think about that beautiful idea that keeps resonating in your spirit. And you're like, man, and only you can do it. Why? Because it's going to be birthed from you. Meanwhile, you're going to have some people that know. They know it in their spirit. Ain't going to do nothing. They ain't going to do nothing. Because they're going to allow the distractions to keep them shackled to where they're at. Or what is being projected on you. Why are you holding on to something that can't grow? If you're putting in all the work, why should everybody reap the benefit? Why? That's not fair. If you're holding the line, if you're doing your due diligence for the harvest to come, why would they have the right to sit down at the table with you? Why? So, family, let me tell you right off the bat. If you don't know, the economic landscape has changed. Everything is going to be, if it has not been, going to be based off of an e-commerce platform in some way. That's why you're seeing all these apps coming out of nowhere, as well as you're seeing a lot of the discussions and narratives that are being put up. Because guess what? The people that know, they've been doing their work nonstop. They ain't changed nothing. The environment may change, but the perseverance don't. This is supposed to be your breakout year. You do understand that, right? So the question needs to be asked is, when are you going to get out of the way of you? You realize there are people that are willfully choosing to stand still knowing they should fly. Or they think that if you allow self-care in whatever your endeavors, there's a insecurity because you're trying to better yourself. Why? Why? I do one better. Think about that last setback that had you crippled. Yeah, that one. Look at where you're at now. If that was meant to be your reality, you would still be in it. And I've tried to use an example. If I knew a year ago, almost a year, a little bit over a year ago, if I had allowed my fear to pretty much petrify my mental capacity, when they said, oh, you got to pay us $10,000. Did I have $10,000 to just, no. But I made a decision and I came up with a logical plan and I got through it. Fast forward. Ain't got no debts. My Jeep's paid off. Pink slip will be here in 2 weeks. History. And I'm not saying that as a means to gloating. I'm saying that when there's a will, there's a way. But there can't be a way until you acknowledge what is being presented to you. Have the discussion. You realize how many people think that the life that they are in is going to be there forever? For how far from it? That is why, even in the scriptures, those who are last will be made first, and those who are first will be made last. Reason? Because you must explain, or Shelley, you must embrace transition to learn the value of said moment. You think that you're supposed to be in this, if you're dealing with your finances, struggling with your finances, you think that's going to be your forever? No, it's not. Far from it. But it will stop the moment that you decide to say, hey, look here, enough's enough. How can I fix this? Have the courage to have the conversations with said parties involved. Come up with a contingent plan and keep persevering. Yes, that means you might have to tighten up your belt here. That means there might be some things that you enjoy doing that you can't do right now. But guess what? Them same things will be there when it's time. Guess what? You ain't missing out. That's just like when you were in your 20s. I remember I used to, every weekend, I'd be out in the club. I remember. You know, I was always, even in my 20s, I was about my money. But it was like I felt obligated. I had to have my face in the place. And then one day I sat down and said, you know what? If I had just shown a little discipline, if I had acknowledged what tasks I needed to accomplish first and got them out of the way, not only would I have saved time, I would have saved money. I mean, look at your credit card. Who am I talking to? I'll put a little bit on it because I want to do that. But think about all the freedom you'll have if you paid it off. And what's the linchpin of that? Your credit score. Some of y'all are feeling that now because some of y'all said, I'm tired of renting. I don't want to rent no more. I want to have my own. Because you do know the longer you rent, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. You're paying it off. You're doing them a service by them providing you shelter. But what if what you deserve not only will surpass where you are, you won't even be able to fathom. You won't even be able to fathom in your mind what is waiting on you. Let's talk about relationships. You know, the one thing about this pandemic, A lot of people had eye-opening examples of what they need to feel emotionally safe. What the example is for your smile to be seen, and what transparency is needed to secure it. Listen, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you guys don't know each other, but y'all been together forever, with all sympathy, they're not supposed to be there. If you're with somebody because of the one dynamic they may bring to the table keeps them afloat, then you deserve better. This is my parental disclaimer. If you're in a relationship with somebody because it's the sexual gratification you get from it, but everything else falls to the wayside, they're in the way of the person that should be there all along. Flip side, if you're with somebody and the only thing they bring to the table is financial security, you will never have any growth because you're not building with them. You're basically the living asset that they possess. And you wonder why they got control issues. They ain't supposed to be there. They're in the way of the person that's supposed to be your forever. If they're not empowering you to be the best you, they ain't supposed to be there. If they're not able to have a conversation that has substance to your life, they ain't supposed to be in your life. Doesn't matter if they look like they fell out of a magazine. Because kings, you do this all the time. We get caught up on the visual. Man, she fine as hell, man. Man, them curves. Oh man, she got a face like a doll baby. She looks like an angel sent. But she ain't got no life skills. She got insecurities. You paying for the price of the last relationship because she has not allowed herself to process, purge, and heal. So she's bringing all this baggage with her behavior to your doorstep. He, by image, shows security. But when he opens his mouth, you hear nothing but immaturity. There's nothing wrong with being impulsive by spontaneity. But everything that has foundation must be built from the ground up to stand the test of time. But he fine, girl. He fine. He got this. But he make me feel like that. He ain't supposed to be there. The person that's going to be in your life is the person that's going to make you his wife. And you're going to earn the right to take his last name. I saw something on social media where the big thing now is the queen is proposing to the king. Do you know that is not blessed? It's not blessed. If it was the case, it would be written so. And how do you expect yourself to feel emotionally safe to lay there when you're sick? They're going to do what they can as a voice of reason to get you well. And they're wondering why it's splashed on social media just for clout. You can't build a legacy off of clout. But you can attract a whole lot of despair. And it's sad because that's what generational curses are all about. Lastly, stop allowing people to project their insecurities on you. You realize how many people don't even know what their real voice is? So what do you mean by that, Gerald? Because you think that if you turn up or you turn your volume up on your voice, people take you serious. When in actuality, they put you on mute. They don't want to hear that because they know that, just like this, somebody got me on mute. Because you know what I'm telling you is speaking to your heart. Why? Now, you might be tired of being tired because you're by yourself. You're tired of that side of the bed being cold. Let me tell you something. You know why this is playing out? Because spiritually, you're being afforded time to allow yourself to heal. Because when the adequate time has progressed, everything that you have learned through your time, your sabbatical, you're going to take that in the next relationship. You're going to take it there. And guess what? The person that you allow in your life is a living example of your mindset. So if every time you turn around, there's nothing but drama everywhere you turn around, you need a what they used to say, a Calgon moment. Calgon, take me away. No, that means you need to push that out your life. That's why I used to always say, your friends will be far and few between. But if you want to know, ask them what their purpose is. What's your purpose in life? And if they can't answer that, they ain't supposed to be in yours. I felt compelled to put this out, fam, because some of y'all need to get out of your own way. Because you're constantly seeing the same examples of what you don't need, but you're accepting it as you do. And don't you realize the moment that you're ready to accept what is being offered, you can make a decision of what's needed. Because guess what's on the other side of that? Your blessing, your rightful placement. Maybe you're at that point in your life where you're sitting on top of the hill surveying where you came from, where you're headed, and you're trying to put all the pieces together. Take all the time you need. You don't have to accept. You don't. But as long as you decide not to do that, guess what happens? You indirectly you attract all the things that are going to be distractions in your life. Why should I respect their time and place? That's why they call you at all hours of the night. Who am I talking to? Because they don't respect you. And they don't respect you because you refuse to love on you. Because if anybody genuinely had your best interest, they're not going to disrespect you. People will only do what you allow them to do. But that will change when you have the courage to have the conversation. Whatever that conversation is. You may be a parent. You don't like how the dynamic is with you and the other parent, may it be custodial or in relationship. Have a conversation. But see, a lot of people are afraid that the truth will be more painful than the conversation. Well, guess what? That's your breakthrough. That's your break free. and you're wondering why you don't smile, why you're always feeling guarded, because your heart says, I need more. When are you going to free me? What about that little boy and little girl that lives inside you still saying, hey, when are you going to take care of me? Why are you always putting them before from me? You're still that little boy and still that little girl. Well, if I say what I need to say, they're going to react a certain way. If it doesn't change for the better, let them go. Why are you doing time in your own mind? Why are you doing a sentence that's not yours? You want the man of your dreams, queen? Be the woman of his. That's why I will keep saying to my last breath, stop looking for your man, prepare for him. And kings, to have your queen, you must know your name. Because because we get older doesn't make you a man. That comes with wisdom and experience and being able to know the difference. Some of y'all done clicked off 10 minutes ago because you don't want to change. You want to suffer. There's no gratitude in being a martyr, except for the opportunists, because you're doing their work for free. I love each and every one of you. Please social distance. Put a mask on when you out. Don't let these naysayers tell you, oh, that they're trying to make it into a civil liberties thing. Listen, tell you something. How much is your immune system worth to you? How much? Why put yourself at risk with someone that don't give a damn about if you live or die? That's what integrity is about. Come on. And listen. Some of y'all may be thinking you're doing indentured servitude in your relationships. You're thinking that your mate is going to change as long as you stay the course. They're not going to stay the course. They're not going to change nothing until you give them a reason to change it. So why don't you have a conversation? And if they don't want to change, you're going to know it. Get the hell out their way so you can claim your own. And guess what? If you hang around because somebody is the benefactor to your lifestyle, guess what? You're no different than whatever other possessions they have, because they know what they bring to the table. And they know that as long as they have that, you're going to be around. But guess what? What they're not going to have, what you're not going to have, is your self-worth. What you're not going to have is the eraser of your insecurities. Them fears, they get worse. So ground your feet, open your eyes, put the work in. Because let me tell you what, fam. Some of y'all don't even realize it. This time next year, you're not going to be the same person. Everything about you is going to be just like the caterpillar going into the cocoon to emerge as the butterfly. But guess what? Some of them snakes out there gonna keep that same skin, and they're gonna choke themselves out because they refuse to grow. And what happens when you don't grow? You become stagnant. What happens from things that become stagnant? It dies. It dies. So what I'm trying to say to you, short and sweet, when are you going to take your rightful place? When are you going to take your rightful place of your life? You tired of people telling you what to do? Stand on your foundation, claim your life back. Roll your sleeves up. Objectively look at what needs to be conquered. Some of y'all don't even realize. Some of y'all sitting at your credit score beat up. You think, oh man, I gotta accept this. No, you don't. Make this the day you say, I'm gonna roll my sleeves up. When's the last time you looked at your credit report? They're free. No matter what it is. I don't care. You may be, look, we all get afraid. We're afraid when we look at our financial health. But guess what happens when you look at it? That tells you exactly where you are. And it also will give you motivation to get to where you need to be. Some of y'all, your circle is going to change when you decide to change it. And guess what? They're going to be waiting on you so they can love on you, show you something new, and validate what you already know. Meanwhile, those other people, unfortunately, they're going to be still doing the same old thing that they've been doing. But unfortunately, time waits for no one. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. Do you? And for that, it helps me discern mine. Family, it would be an understatement for me to tell you that, do I feel nervous about this next chapter? Of course I do. It motivates me to get there. But just know, what's on the other side is validation. The efforts shown is because I love you. Because manifestation is real. But what is required is you to claim it. Some of y'all getting ready to jump on that springboard that's gonna catapult your life to the stratosphere beyond your wildest dreams. But anything that's worth value requires investment. So when you gonna do it? I'm waiting on you. Be blessed.